What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Gun Tote Minnesotan. Today I have another product sent out the channel by Discovery Optics. This right here is their PRS 4 to 20 by 52 side focus illuminated reticle. This one happens to be a 34 millimeter. I'm going to go ahead and just do a little unboxing for you so you can see what you get inside. And there's a lot. It's Discovery. Discovery does a lot. So you have your instruction manual. If you've never zeroed an optic like this, never fired an optic like this actually talks you through pretty good with the details of the optic as well as how to get it set up on your rifle. So this is useful. Definitely if you're a reader, take a look through that. There's information online as well. And then this right here is your quality control and inspection list. And so you're going to see that they have a list of all the items and the parts and pieces of the optic that it's been checked through and stamped, and quality control certification has been given, or a grade and level. As far as the things that I notice a lot, it's definitely the second half. That's where I'm looking quite a bit. Eye focus adjustments, parallax, and magnification. Reticle, there's almost never an issue with reticles. Nowadays they're doing really good with engraving those. It's possible, but mostly I'm looking at machining of these latter halves. Comes with your lens cleaning cloth, an information card. This is good. I actually wish that every optics manufacturer would include something like this, just so that the novice or the person who doesn't remember the capabilities of their optic could look at this. And you know what would be really cool is if it had the reticle with the details of the values of the subtensions. If it had the reticle on this side with the details of that, that would be really cool. But anyways, this gives you the information about the optic and everything you're probably going to need to know, especially the things that are important, like what are the click values, how many MRADs of internal elevation or windage do you have, and what size rings do you need. But it's got everything there for you. If you're a novice, this is especially useful. As usual, Discovery likes to include these leveling kits. If you don't use it, it's just a nice extra. You hardly even pay for these extras. These are, mostly freebies. They're thrown in, I think. But that leveling kit can work on certain kinds of Picatinny rails, depending on your optic and depending on your skill set of leveling. This could be useful. Moving on, you have one piece of hardware here. Okay, so there's an Allen wrench in there, and you have a scope cleaning cloth, or a lens cloth. Then you have a scope cleaning brush, and this one actually has multiple heads to it. So cleaning your lenses and getting to the edges, you really don't want to just rub a cloth in there sometimes, because it actually could damage the glass or the lenses. You could scratch dust on there. Sometimes you want to blow it off, lightly rub it off with one of these. This does better with dust than a lot of other kinds. I start with the brushes typically on this side, and in Minnesota we have inclement weather, so I've shot competitions in rainy storms, definitely in a lot of snowstorms, and I like to start by brushing off with this, because sometimes there's sand that gets mixed in there, and I'm really careful about getting sand in my lenses. I usually close up my lenses with the caps, and I try to make sure my bipods, when they go feet up, don't have a bunch of dirt caked on it. But I shoot in a sandy environment a lot of times, even in the winter, sand's getting in there. And so I start with a brush, and then if I feel like it's cleaned off and there's not big granules of dirt, then I'll move to this side and just get it as clear as possible. That's a nice extra. I really appreciate that. They're actually really useful. Then, of course, you have rings. And these rings, the rings that they include, which I may or may not use in this review, these are high rings. And the reason that they go with high rings is because it has a 52 millimeter objective. It is 34 millimeters. And high rings can work with more setups than including a low set of rings. Sometimes the objective bell will run in with a low set of rings because it's a larger, more serious optic. High rings tend to work more often, and again, these are like extras, guys. This is just to get you shooting. So as soon as you open your optic, you get your package like this, you have everything that you need. You can throw this on and go zero your rifle at the very least. So even if you choose to upgrade later, like I might, this is a really nice extra to be included, and it's also got the marking on there to make sure that you have the correct units. Okay, scope covers, sunshades, there's a bunch of them. There's a few different packages from Sunway where the goal is not to put all the sunshades together and make a 14-inch sunshade. The goal is actually versatility, because sometimes you might need a different length sunshade. It depends what kind of shooting you're doing. And I know in the extreme airgun shooting world or in hunting, you can't always choose your shots. You can't always choose where the sun is, where reflections are going to be, and you don't want to get sunned out. So this right here is, a relatively long sunshade. You could make a longer one by including these two, or you could just go with a shorter one, kind of a more standard sunshade there. Lastly, this is an important piece. This is a throw lever assist, which is going to thread into the scope. Okay, looking over the features just really briefly, the objective lens here has a scope cover cap, not a flip cap. Don't lose that. You'll have to put it in your pocket or something, but it does kind of the trick. The diopter adjustment here has plenty of range of travel, very aggressive texture here, but plenty enough even if you have a relatively bad eye. I'm going to set that to my own eye in a little while when it's on the rifle. These pyramids on the mag ring here are, again, the same. It's uniform through each dial knob and everything that Discovery does. It's usually a uniform texture like that, which it works good, so why try anything else, I guess. This right here, the mag ring itself, is not overly firm, but I would say it's firm enough that the assist here is useful. It is smooth enough that I can move it with my hands here, but I know that when it gets to be really cold temperatures, sometimes if I'm wearing mittens or gloves, it's nice just to have, like a big lever to grab onto. If I'm shooting at 10 power and I want to move it up to 20, or if I'm on 20 spotting and I want to move it back down here, this works pretty effectively. It's a large size lever, as you can see here. It's going to stick out a little bit. Probably won't block my bubble level. I don't often shoot on like 13. I'm either going to be closer to 10 or up towards 16, I think, with this optic. That's my guess anyways, but it's working how it should. I'm going to take a look at these turrets real quick. Discovery has really nice turrets. They do have tracking guarantees for tolerances. They sound really good. And I'll get my mic in there in a second so you can hear. It appears that the witness mark lines up on 0 right on the line, which is good right there. These are not lift to operate turrets, but good solid turrets, very robust. Has a huge capture on top of this turret cover. This cap itself is enormous. This hasn't been out actually for a very long time. At the time of this recording, let me just check here. Yeah, this hasn't been out very long at all. There's not a huge amount of these on the market just yet, so I'm excited to have this in hand and give it a good try. The illumination has 6 settings with off in between, and you go from a 20 yard parallax rather up to infinity, like that. And it is a large sized wheel. As you can see there, even this illumination knob is a large size wheel. The turrets are large, and the parallax is extended. It's pretty large. Not really an issue for me. Most people probably like that, and it gives the feeling of less resistance because it is a large wheel. You can grab onto it and move it pretty well. 52 millimeter front objective on this guy. It's going to let in plenty of light and be pretty appropriate for a 4-20, especially it has a 34 millimeter tube. All of this together is going to work out nicely.